All right, I'm hoping everyone is going to be ready. Okay, so I'm hoping we're all ready, right?
Ready, Freddy?
Okay, so class.
Yes.
All right. Okay. No. How dare you? Anyway,
I do that every time.
I know you do. So, for those people following along, this is page 21 in my notebook, and I know that no one in here waits until the day to turn in the notebook that you will actually start updating your table of contents. No one in here would do that, would they? We don't have anyone in here that does that. We don't have anyone that just doodles on their paper instead of actually updating their SMART goals, do they? No one does that.
I don't do that.
I know you don't, because you're a good boy.
Thank you.
Anyway, all right, so we're going to go through credit cards. This is going to be one of those things, again, that life lessons. You might actually learn something that's going to help you for the rest of your life. And so if you pay attention, great. If you don't, you know what? I'll see you later when you are filing for bankruptcy.
I'm scared of credit cards.
Be afraid.
I already have a credit card.
Ooh, dollar.
Hey, let me borrow $20.
I have a debit and then I have like another one.
You
Thanks,
up?
credit.
There we go. All right. That being said, okay. Now, do you guys know how to read? Not really. So, I'm going to kind of read some of this for you, but I want you guys to go back through this. So, open-ended installment loans using a credit card is an example of open-ended installment loans, commonly referred to as revolving credit. Okay, so credit card loans require users to make only a minimum monthly payment that depends on the unpaid balance and interest rate. So you will have a minimum payment each time. Okay, most credit card companies are billed every month. A typical billing period is May 1st through 31st. Customers receive a statement called a itemized billing that includes an unpaid balance on the first billing period, total balance owed over the last day of the billing period. It lists the purchases, cash advances made during the billing period. Any finance charges or other fees incurred, the date of the last day of the billing period, payment due date, and the minimum payment required. Customers who make a purchase during the billing period and pay the entire amount of purchase by the payment due date are not charged interest. Now, okay, I just said a whole lot of things, and what I want you to get out of that is this guy right here, I spend over $3 grand a month on my credit card. But when I pay it back, actually, I don't really pay that much back. Let's say, for instance, I pay exactly $3,000. So at the end of the month, since I pay it off every single time, I don't incur any interest. So I pay it off every month. I pay it all off. But with certain credit cards and rewards programs, I spend that, but then they give me money back. So I get about $200 back a month. So if I spend $3,000 on a credit card, over the course of my month, I'm going to get about $200 back. So that means since I'm getting money back off of this $3,000 that I spent, am I still spending $3,000? No, I'm spending about $2,800. So what is actually happening is I am not incurring interest and I'm getting cash back off of this by paying everything off at the statement balance every month. So if you're smart about your money, credit cards are great. They really are. But you have to be smart. You have to watch your finances. You have to keep track of how much money you're spending and never spend more than what you can afford to spend. Credit card companies, they want you to spend more because they make money off of that. So I have a credit card right now. For some reason, they keep sending me a thing where they're upping my balance. They're like, oh, hey, you could spend $15,000 now. So my credit limit is over $20,000 now. And that's just for that one card. They want me to spend more. They want me to actually incur interest. They want me to have to pay that off. I don't want to do it, so I don't. Okay? But you, as in going to be the young people that are trying to establish your credit, you need to pay close attention to stuff like that. And we're going to go over other reasons to go along with this. So, again, out of this whole thing, I want you to get this last thing right here. Pay the entire amount of the purchase by the payment due date, are not charged interest. So every month, pay the full balance. You don't get charged interest because of that. Okay, interest on credit cards, average daily balance method. So there is step by step. I'm going to go over to here to explain example 1. The issue of a particular Visa card calculates interest using average daily balance method. The monthly interest is 1.3% of the average daily balance. The following transactions occurred during May 1st through May 31st billing period. Now, all these right here. So, this is step by step on your homework. If you're actually paying attention to me, okay, your homework, you're going to have a problem just like this. It's going to look just like this. You have one problem like this. I'm only going to make you do this one time, okay? Because it's not always exactly the same for every single credit card company, and you're not going to go back, you're not going to know enough math and know enough programming to actually go through and double check what the credit card says how much you owe. Okay, you can't check their math because they got voodoo math going off in there. It changes constantly. So you would find average daily balance for the billing period, interest paid on this, balance due, all this. So item by item, this is how it starts off with. Our May 1st is what we're starting off from the previous month. And I'm going through your notes, and your notes are already filled out. So unless you're texting right now, okay, message your counselor. Make sure you sign up for summer school, okay? Okay, May 1st. So on May 8th, okay, we make a payment. So this balance that we owe goes down because we made a payment. So I subtract from the total. This is always the amount that I owe when I'm talking about these credit cards. So next thing, I made a charge of $375. It goes up, so I add that to my previous balance. So I'll take my previous balance and it goes back over here. Okay, previous balance goes over here. Another charge of $57.50, then another charge of $65.30. So my total balance there is $1597.80. Yes? Okay. Are you okay? You're not? You're tired? Okay, finish that drink. Hurry up. It's done?
No, it
It doesn't do anything?
If
You have
you
an
have
energy
any-
drink, but it doesn't give you energy.
That's a chuggy, bro.
You ever tried meth?
Man?
Okay, good, don't.
Just take
Okay.
a pause.
doesn't. Oh.
Okay, don't. Okay.
Do it live.
Now, balances to go along with that. So we're continuing through here using this 2-column method. And so as we go through to figure out what our daily balance is, for 7 days, my balance was this. And so when you count the days and you go through and do this, you really got to pay close attention. So between May 1st and May 8th. So 1 day, so you start counting. So if you're starting on the 1st, 1 day would be on the 2nd, right? So it's the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and then the 8th. By the time we get to the 8th, there are 7 days there. And a lot of people are going to mess up their counting. Okay, there is 7 days that I have that balance right there. Does that make sense? So after we make this payment here, I have 2 days that I have this balance. Okay, I have 2 days that I have that balance. And then 10 days later, I spend some more money. So I have that, so it just keeps going and going for every single day after I make every single time. So in between each, this is 10 days, okay, as we keep adding it in between. So the number of days for each unpaid balance, then as we multiply them out by the days, we get a total amount. The amount of my balance times the days that it was that balance. Does that make sense or no? Okay, you're gonna put in your numbers when you have your problem on your homework, and you're gonna look just like this. Almost exactly like this. Divide the sum of unpaid balances for each day in the billing period, which was my 45,000. Divide by my billing period of 31, so my average daily is going to be 1453.26. That's how I get that for my part A on this problem. So that's probably going to be one of the harder parts to actually get out of all this. Then we have our interest rate of 1.3%. So I get right here my daily balance times my 1.3% as a decimal times 1 month. It's always going to be 1 month right here, because each one of these is per month. And then we should get my interest for this month is going to be $18.89. My interest for this month is $18.89. Make sense? So, for my balance on the next month's payment, so at the end, I had my previous balance plus my interest is going to give me $16.69. Now, for this one right here, for part D, it goes back to the question. Credit card requires $10 minimum monthly payment if the balance due at the end of the billing period is less than $360. Otherwise, the minimum monthly payment is 1/36 of the balance due at the end of the billing period, rounded up to the nearest whole dollar. What's the minimum monthly payment for this? 1/36. So that is part of what you have to do to be able to get our payment. Wait, I'm one more over. So I took my number, divided by 36, and I'm going to get a minimum payment of 45. Now, to go along with this, paying the minimum payment is not a good thing. Okay, there has been laws that has changed, but the way that they used to do this is minimum payment is you're paying the interest only. So I loan this creature right here $1,000. Okay, I'm going to charge you $5 a month interest. Okay, so next month he pays me $5. Okay, he still owes me $1,000 though, right? Okay, next month rolls around, he pays me $5. You still owe me $1,000. So he's only making the interest payment. So what you need to do is make sure that you're paying more than what the interest is, more than what the minimum payment is if you can't make the full payment. So next month he pays me $100. He pays me $100. So he made more than that. So now how much does he owe me?
900.
Okay, it was the 5, right? 5 was the payment, and then 95 off of the principal. So he's still going to owe me 905. He's going to owe me 905. So next month rolls around, his minimum payment's not going to be $5. It's going to be less than $5 because his balance is less than the 1,000 that he had. So his payment would go down. So the amount that he owes as the minimum payment will go down. That's what happens in these credit cards. The more that you pay, the less you're going to get charged interest, the more that's going to go towards your principal to pay off the loan or to pay off this reoccurring debt. So, word of advice, if you have to use credit cards, and it is a smart thing if you can keep track of it, pay it off at the end of every month. Okay? And if you can't pay it off at the end of every month, pay more than a minimum balance, more than the minimum payment, all the time. So, along with this, we have advantages. Okay? Use the product before we could actually pay for it. So you're borrowing money to pay for it. You just don't get paid until next week. So you put it on the credit card. That's basically what it's for. No interest charged by paying the balance due at the end of each billing period. Pay it off every month. You don't actually have to pay anything beyond that. Responsible use is an effective way to build good credit. We're going to talk about credit at the end of this unit here. It's actually like the bottom couple slides. No need to carry around large amounts of cash. More convenient to use in checks. Consumer protections. They're to dispute a fraudulent charge on your credit card statement. Let the card issuer know, and the amount is generally removed. So if you have a problem with this, you call them up, be like, hey, there's fraud on my account for this one right here, and then they'll either remove it or whatever problems. That's important. Okay, credit cards do this. Debit cards do not. If you have a debit card, that is your bank, and they are not very nice about it. But credit card companies, that's one of the things that's actually good about it. Right here, purchase over the phone, internet. You have to have it now. Nowadays, just try to get a hotel room. You have to have a credit card. You have to book it with the credit card. If you were to try and book something, they hold it as a credit card. So they charge you a fee if you do not show up at the hotel. So yes, you did not pay, but you did not go, but they could have sold that room to someone else. So yes, they still charge you for booking it, especially with hotels rooms. Like if I say that there's a big whatever in Florida this weekend, okay, I book a hotel room, but I don't go. That hotel room would have been amount out of the money that I promised to pay. So instead of charging me the whole fee, which sometimes they do, they'll charge you a cancellation fee, which is less than that.
What they could do with the debit card, why credit card?
Especially if you go to the hotel room and you decide that you're going to, throw the mattress out the window, break the TV, and cook meth in the bathroom. They're going to charge you fees on top of that. Okay, so don't do that again. Anyway, monthly statements can help you keep track of spending. May provide amenities such as free miles toward air travel. Now, that's what I said about where me paying $3,000 a month, I get money back because I keep track of my credit card and I always get mileage and cash back depending on what I'm spending. And useful identification with multiple pieces of identification are needed. Yes, my face is on my credit card, and his face is in his phone. You're what? You're booking a hotel room? You're trying to get a car loan? Okay. High interest rates, unpaid balance. Okay, so these are bad. Some as high as 30%. No cap on interest rates. Okay, no cap on fees. Now this one right here is super important, especially when you get your first credit card. Okay, Consumer Reports cited credit card with an enticing 9.9% annual interest rate, but the fine print revealed a $29 account setup fee, $95 program fee, $48 annual fee, and $7 monthly service fee. And that's just to have that credit card. They charge you that much just to own the credit card. That's crazy, right? So, when you get a credit card, pay close attention to what they do. It's easy to overspend. It will get you in trouble, big time. Okay, minimum payment, we already talked about. Don't make minimum payment. Always pay more or pay it off if you can. Try not to spend anything more than what you have to. Debit cards offer the convenience. It is money coming straight out of your account. But like Brandon over there, he doesn't have money in his account. But his girl makes him go over to Panda Express, okay, and he's all, yeah, I'm balling, I got you. Even though he knows he got no money in that account. So, it's called an overdraft fee. It is called an overdraft fee where it's $27 for an overdraft fee. Every single charge that you charge when your account's at zero, you're gonna pay an extra $27. So Brandon goes up there, he gets his food, okay, and he's like, oh man, I know I ain't got no money, but then his girl's all, hey, go back and give me some wontons. And you know those little Kragu Ragu things, the little, you know what you're talking about, right? With the cream cheese in it? Yeah, those things right there. So his girl's all, yeah, I need those. And so it's only like another $2 charge, but guess what? His bank account's already at zero. So guess how much he has to pay? An extra $27.
Mine's more than that. If I go over, it's 35 bucks.
Yep. 35 bucks. So that's twice you used it. So you said right there it's 35, right?
Well, every day.
So that meal, everything that you spend over it.
No, it's every day you still negative. It's $35.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you better hurry up and pay that back. So anyway, but yeah, you got to be careful about that. And it also, debit cards do not offer. They do not offer the protection a credit card does for disputed purchases. So here's an example. My son, he bought some stuff online, okay, and then his credit card was charged all kinds of extra money. He had to fight with the credit card company for like 6 months. It was like $600 they took out of his account. Crazy, right? Okay. Whoop, up, 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 up. All right, keep track of your balances. Now, we're going to stop right here. We're going to pick up this tomorrow. Everyone's going to make sure they like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Support my channel. Buy stuff in the merch store.